Okay, great. So like I said, my name is James Frasca. I am a video production specialist here, and today we are going to be talking about Panasonic's Pro PTZ camera lineup. So let's get right into it. So we wanted to start off the show with this graph of all of Panasonic's new cameras that have come out and are coming out, and all of the information to be able to compare them to each other. Now, like I said, we're not going to go into overly detailed information in these cameras, but we wanted to give you the resources to be able to do that yourself. So you can pause the video there, or you can check out our blog tomorrow where we will be posting this with some more information. And again, like I said, we're going to give you some additional resources at the end of the show. So Panasonic has been phasing out some of their older cameras, and they are going to be replacing them with some new cameras, including the UE80, UE50, UE40, UE20, and HE20. And they have this really good kind of category system where it's the Pro Series, Premium Series, and Platinum Series, and basically it's a good, better, best platform. And we're going to go into each one of those categories and talk about those cameras specifically a little bit. So we're going to start with their good cameras in their Pro Series. And I wanted to talk about the AW-UE4 kind of on its own, because it's the only camera in this lineup that doesn't actually pan and tilt. It's what we call an ePTZ. It's an electronic pan tilt zoom. And so what that is it's a camera with a 4K sensor on it. But what it does is it zooms in on that 4K sensor and outputs to 1080. So you have a lossless digital zoom, and in that zoom, you're able to electronically pan and tilt around that sensor without losing any quality. And so this camera comes in right at just under $1,000, and it's great for places like a house of worship or a classroom, because these are super easy. They're super small super easy to set up, and they're very small, so they're very portable. And like I said, it doesn't actually pan or tilt. I did that backwards, but that's okay. It doesn't actually pan or tilt. So one thing about this is it doesn't make any noise whatsoever, and it doesn't move, so it's not distracting. So if your speaker is at the front of the classroom, it's not going to be distracting to the students behind. So yeah, that is the UE4. And then keeping in that good category, we have the HE20 and the UE20. And these cameras actually do physically pan and tilt, so you have a lot more range of motion with that too. In doing so, these cameras are SDI and HDMI and USB compatible, which is great. And the only difference between these cameras really is whether or not you need 4K or 1080. So the H stands for HDMI, and the U and the UE20 stands for Ultra HD. So the HE is a 1080p camera, and the UE20 is a 4K camera. So that's kind of the difference between these two cameras. So next we're going to move on up a little bit into the quote-unquote better series with the Premium Series, and that's the UE40, UE50, and UE80. And all three of these cameras are 4K cameras, which is great, so you don't have to worry about, do you need that 1080 or do you need that 4K? So the main differences between the UE50 and the UE40 is the UE40 is only HDMI. So you're really not going to want to be running your cables more than 20 or 30 feet, because you're going to start to lose some image quality. So if you wanted to run those cables, 100 feet, 200 feet, you're probably going to want to lean more towards the UE50, because that has your SDI cables, which are much better at delivering an image quality over a longer distance through cable. The great thing about these cameras too is, say you're in a workflow right now where you are using HDMI and SDI, and you're thinking about down the line potentially going into an NDI workflow, these cameras are NDI HX upgradable. So you can get them now. They'll work in your HDMI or SDI workflows, and then when you decide to go to NDI, you don't have to worry about these cameras not being compatible. You just get the upgrade and you're good to go. And then you have the UE80, which the biggest difference in this camera is the ability to have 60 FPS, and that NDI and NDI-HX is already built in. So you don't have to worry about that. So you can use your SDI and your HDMI now, or you can use NDI now. It's already pre-configured, and it has SRT as well. So then we're going to get into their best, their Platinum series. So that would be Panasonic's flagship camera is the UE150, and they really did a good job of bringing broadcast quality camera down into, you know, a relatively small form factor in this PTZ. It has 12G SDI, HDMI, 4K 60, and is also NDI-HX upgradable. So now the difference between a camera like the UE50 and the HE145 is, again, that 1080 versus 4K. We actually stream right at 1080 because a lot of platforms like Facebook and YouTube actually prefer that you do that. So you don't necessarily need 4K, but there are benefits to using 4K. Some platforms do allow you to use 4K. And even so, in those platforms, say you're going to stream at 1080, you kind of get that same feature with that UE4 where you can zoom in digitally and not lose any quality as long as you're exporting still to 1080. So those are the differences between the UE150 and the HE145. And then you also have the UE100, which is kind of in between those two cameras. It's a 4K 60p camera, and NDI and NDI-HX is already built in, so you don't have to worry about that. So then there also, Panasonic also has their outdoor series with the HR140. Now this is, you know, playing a different game entirely. If the other cameras were playing baseball, this is playing football. It really is in a league of its own. It's an outdoor camera made to be outside and in that weather. So you don't have to worry about if it's snowing, is it going to be too cold, or are your internals going to freeze? It has a heater built inside of it, so you don't have to worry about that. Same thing with if it's too hot out, it has cooling technology in it too, so you don't have to worry about the camera overheating. And then of course it has a little windshield wiper on the front of it, so you don't have to worry about things like condensation or rain, or if like a leaf gets on the lens. So, you know, you might be thinking, oh, well, why can't I just take one of those other PTZs and put one of those like plastic domes on it? And again, it's not made to be outside. It's not made to be out in the cold. If the dome, you know, gets some leaves on it, you're kind of stuck with that. Or if there's condensation on the dome, that plastic dome, you know, you can be in some big trouble. Whereas this has everything built in to prevent those things from happening and enabling you to still have a great workflow. So then, now you have your cameras. Let's talk about your controllers. And again, Panasonic did a great job of having a good, better, best lineup with their controllers. So the first camera, the first controller, which you can see all the way to your left, is actually just an IR remote. So it has to be used in line of sight. And basically you can do very simple panning and tilting. You can set up some presets. You can also do your zoom, but it's going to be a little bit jittery. But the good thing about it is, say you are on the road and you need to quickly be able to set up a couple cameras, you just have that remote, fits in your pocket, you point it at the camera, and you're good to go. So it does have its benefits. Say you want to move up a little bit, you will want to look at something like the RP60, which is a controller that has its own joystick. It has a keyboard with a rocker for your zoom, and this also allows for presets, but you can do that more fine-tuned panning and tilting with that joystick. And then of course, moving on up again to the best, there's the RP150. And with that, the joystick is much bigger, so you can get even more fine-tuned with your panning, tilting, and zooming. And the screen is also touchscreen, so if you want to be controlling one camera, you just click on that camera. It's very intuitive, very easy to set up and use. So Panasonic really has all of these different models to set you up for success. Panasonic also offers a bunch of different software, some of them free, some of them that do cost a little bit more. So we're going to talk about the free software first. And so going back to controllers, you have the ability to get a software called Pro PTZ Camera Control Center software. I know that's a mouthful, but basically all it is it's a program that you can get on your computer to be able to use a mouse and a keyboard to do your panning and tilting. And what I think is pretty cool is it actually allows you to set up something like a PlayStation controller or an Xbox controller and use the joysticks and triggers to be able to control your panning and your zoom and things like that. They also have the Pro PTZ Easy IP Plus software, and basically what that is it's a system that you can connect all of your cameras into and be able to manage your cameras, such as, you know, updating them to the latest firmware, seeing if they are out of date, seeing if they're on or off, etc., etc. So that's just a really handy software to let you be able to do that. And then what I think is one of the more interesting ones too is the PTZ virtual USB driver. And basically all that does is it allows a camera that, you know, might be connected to your network via SDI or HDMI be able to be registered as a USB. And so that's great for if you wanted to use one of those cameras and bring it into a Teams call or a Zoom call or a Skype call or whatever. This is another free program that allows you to do that. And of course, there are some programs that aren't free. They do cost money, including the Pro PTZ auto tracking, and that is a pretty self-explanatory software. It allows for auto tracking. So again, you have your controller options where you can do some manual control, but obviously with auto tracking, you know, your subject can move around and not worry about going out of frame. But then also to give a little bit of personal experience, as I'm the one that normally operates our system here, to have something that has that auto tracking. If we cut away and Jim or Gary walks out of the frame a little bit, well, then I have to manually do that, and that takes my attention away from the show a little bit. So it's not only good for your talent to not have to worry about, but as the crew as well, you don't have to worry about the person going out of frame because you set the parameters for their head and their body, and the camera will automatically follow them. Then there's also the Pro PTZ Visual Presets, which is a plugin that allows you to set up multiple cameras for preset switching via an on-screen display. Excuse me, I need to slow down a little bit, as Gary always says, slow down. Basically, that makes it so you can have all your presets set up in advance to be able to switch between your cameras, making it a much smoother process when you are actually live. Because again, you don't want to have to worry about in the moment, how many buttons do you need to hit? You want to be able to have everything ready to go and make it as simple as you can. So like I did say, there are some additional resources where you can get a lot more information on all of these products. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see a website there. It's Panasonic's website, and that basically just brings you to the landing page of all of the products that I just talked about. And on any one of those products, you can scroll down and you will see I believe it's a green button that says Learn More. And if you click on that and then scroll down again a little bit, you will see, 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 videos that sometimes they gloss over kind of what happened, gloss over what the product is and what it can do. But some of them also go really into detail of how do I set up the controller? How do you make it so your infrared controller saves those presets? So, step-by-step instructional videos along with just summary videos. So again, some really, really good additional resources for you to be able to get as much information as you can about these products. And I know I kind of did go a little bit quick with this. Actually, I'm looking at my clock right there, 15 minutes. I know we've been shooting for 15 to 20, so maybe next time we'll add another slide to get it to 16, 17 minutes. But yeah, my name is James Frasca. I'm a video production specialist here, you can give us a call at 800-323-2325. You'll most likely talk to me. I have to do the plugs for us to talk about subscribing to our YouTube channel. I believe there's going to be a lower third there in a second for you to see. There it is. You can follow us on Facebook as well. We'll get that up for you. And if you want to learn more about all of the products, you want to stay in the know-how about what's going on in the streaming world, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook. Check us out every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Videoguys Live. And I have to do Gary's signature sign-off. So, peace.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.